So I've certainly had moments in my life, moments where I've thought about giving up. And if you've ever been there, you know it's the toughest place to be because reaching that point it means you've exhausted every option, that you've poured out everything you had. But what I've come to realize is this: what is that when you've exhausted all your options, when you've exhausted all of your options, that's not the end. It's actually an invitation. It's a signal to look for another source, to reframe how you're seeing the problem, because there's always a way. Isaiah says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I'm making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." Sometimes, folks, we can't see the path because we're too close to the pain. But just because you can't see the way doesn't mean that God isn't making a way. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean that something isn't happening for your benefit. Something isn't happening to open up doors for you. People aren't being positioned to come into your life to be a support. Now, let me be real. Most of the time, we can't control the outcome. We just can't. We think we can, but we can't. All we can do, all we can do is control the inputs. We can control the energy we give something. We can control the time we spend thinking about something. We can control the time we spend planning, the time we spend strategizing. We can control the people that we bring into our life. We can control our discipline, our consistency. We can control our response, but not the outcome. So, what do you do? What do you do when you hit your limit? What do you do when you've hit your limit? Well, you refocus on what you can control. You keep pushing. On the lowest day that you feel less like pushing, you need to push. You need to reach for faith. Because here's what I know. Here's the truth. When you've reached the end, when you've reached the end of yourself, that's where God begins. Hmm. So when you've reached the end of yourself, that's where God begins. When you've reached the end, but you have to reach the end. When you reach the end of yourself, that's where God begins. Someone asked me, I guess this was over the last couple of weeks, I've been thinking about this. Someone asked me, Orvin, what's more powerful, knowing something or believing something? For me, the answer is simple and it's clear. Believing is more powerful than knowing. Knowing knowing something, that's in your head. Believing something, that's in your heart. That's deep in your spirit. And when it's deep in your spirit, it starts to shape how you walk. It starts to shape how you speak. It starts to shape how you live. I'm reminded of that scripture, I guess it's in Hebrews. Now, faith is the substance, it's the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It doesn't say faith is the proof, it says the substance. Faith gives weight, faith gives weight and form to what hasn't even happened yet. So if you're in that hard place right now, and I know some of you are, if you're in that hard place right now, if you're at work, you're staring at the wall, you're wondering If there's a point in pushing again, if there's a point to doubling down, let me tell you, you're not done. You're not done. This may be where you end, but it's where God begins. Don't just don't just know it. Don't just know that. Believe it. Because what you believe has the power to move you. It has the power to move you when everything else says stop. It's the accidental banker. Make today great. Keep going. Keep pushing.